Alrighty then.
Let's do this.
Let us do this. So we will start our session like we do with all sessions, recapping the one previous. So, as the group had made their way to the Grim Genie and pondered their decisions outside, giving Racha a little bit of a boost to some abilities, and he started to harass the guard outside. Kaporin eventually made his way towards the guard and found out that this was a fight club. They enlisted Bryn as a contestant, and all the rest of the group were allowed entry alongside her, with Nori being jettisoned out of her wild shape form. They were all led into the building, up to the second floor, to room number 5, in which they were being assigned. During this time, Rickshaw scouted as much as he could of the building, and some helped Bryn prepare for her battles, and then, as the first battle started, they all went to take their seats around the ring. As the second battle was about to start, this was when Bryn was summoned and taken around through the back way over to the arena. There, she was put up against a Duragar, Namdid Metalax. The fight started, and Bryn was put to the test against her dwarven foe. She narrowly achieved victory and immediately went to get some healing. There, the group checked up on her, and when it was restricted to one, Racha went in and tried seeing if his magic could work, which it didn't. After this, Bryn was led back to her room until her next fight, and the group started conniving. With Kaporin taking the lead and trying to flirt with the guards, really bro, read the room, he was denied, and when he tried to fall over the guards and spill drinks, he failed and was escorted to his own soundproof metal cell. Racha was luckily able to use the distraction to squeak by and start investigating, getting only into a handful of rooms but not finding what he needed. He ended up starting to unlock a door when it was being opened from the other side. Racha quickly darted into another room, but unfortunately the two gentlemen were going from the other room were going into this room as well. During this time, Bryn was into her second round of battle, as she more adeptly took care of her half-orc opponent. Racha himself got stuck in battle with the two as they spotted him trying to sneak to the door. Racha quickly dispatched one and then the other as they were easily outmatched by him, being a historian and a teenager, and he hid the bodies as best he could. At this time, Nori witnessed the fight with the two remaining opponents and saw what Bryn was about to face. That's where we return. It's in between battles. There is a lull, a longer little bit of a break before the final battle is commencing. Nori, you witness the two individuals in the fight with the Aarakocra gentleman, if that's a decent word to use for such a person. The man, Aarakocra, dispatching his opponent in a very brutal-esque way. But before you're able to dart up to Bryn's room to relay said information, you hear an announcement come from the announcer. He steps onto the stage after the body is dragged off and the Aarakocra walk away. His voice a little bit louder, just as he does every time he starts to present everything. All right, we've had some wonderful bouts today. Please, all gather some refreshments, enjoy some company. In a few moments, we will have a bit of a show for you all. And then after, we will have our final bout. So please, take your time, enjoy, be merry, bet, and return here in about 15 minutes. Thank you. With that, he kind of secludes back into himself, gives a bow to the majority of the people that are still around, and sees his way off the arena, off to the back, following the Aarakocra, who does not need any healing. But that's where we return. Nora, you've heard this announcement. Kaporin, you're kind of in your spot. Racha, you have hid the bodies as best you could. You've broken out the back window, and, well, you've got one person left to deal with back there. But the rest of the night is yours, time-wise being about 11:30.
Oh dear. So Nori sees this announcement, goes, okay, I got 15 minutes to figure something out. So she's going to dart upstairs to Bryn. Quick question. Was the Aarakocra using his claws?
Nope.
He was just kind of punching people?
Yep.
All right, great. Let's do that. So I'm going to run back up to Bryn. Just burst, slide through the door, almost fall over, right myself, and go, okay, so this isn't great. Oh, fuck, you're hurt.
She's been healed.
Can I? Yeah, but she's got like a broken jaw and her
Oh, yeah.
side is fucked up. Can I see if there's anything I can do to make sure it's not a crit when she gets hit there?
Make a medicine check.
Please roll well. I did not roll well.
In the small amount of time frame that you have, because you're not sure how long whatever this little show is going to be, nothing you can do that's immediate. I mean, you kind of like feel around, pushing a little bit of magic, or trying to push a little bit of magic into her. A little bit does come out, but it's telling you basically that she's fully healed. Anything else, like her jaw or her kidney, is going to take time to fix.
All right. So, Bryn, I've got not great news. The guy you're going up against is, brutal is a kind word. And, well, it's an Aarakocra. He's not flying, he's not using his claws, but he was uninjured and took care of the other combatant fairly quickly.
Would she be able to talk, or would it hurt, kind of thing? I don't even know.
It's to the point where you can talk, but it's uncomfortable.
Gotcha.
It's like having like a busted, the feeling is like having a deep cavity in a back molar.
Okay. He killed him.
I see that you're in pain while talking, so I reach out with my mind this time, so you don't have to do that. I go, yes, he killed him.
Was there anything else?
1 second.
Oh dear.
This doesn't worry me at all.
No, this seems good and fine.
Okay, yes, you can talk to her with your mind.
Oh, you're checking that. Gotcha.
Yeah, I thought we established that last time, so that's why I was...
Different area.
Oh dear. Okay.
The rooms are warded against any buffing magic, so that way if you are able to get through anything, you're not giving your contestant any extra edge in battle.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I wouldn't have been able to do that anyway, because I don't have those spells stocked.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, as far as like you being able to do it in different places in the building, this is why this room would be an extra level of I needed to check.
Alrighty.
Continue.
Is there anything else about the fight that you could tell me?
He's uninjured and he's very strong. The word I would use is very beefy. I'm trying to think. He's definitely the strongest of the foes you've faced thus far. And at the moment, they're doing a weird little show thing. So we've got a couple minutes.
She'll nod. What about the other two?
Well, Koparin, when I said distraction, he thought it meant temper tantrum. So he got taken away, and I presume in a jail cell. I can get him back later. Racha is sneaking around.
I see. There's been no word from them, though. We have no idea what they're doing or how they're doing.
No, not at all. And I wouldn't even be able to go check.
Okay. I'm sure this last fight is going to be brutal. You might need to help them more than you help me.
There's not much I can do for Racha, and I doubt I'll be able to get Koparin back, especially while we're in the middle of a fight. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think while we're talking, I'm just gonna kind of, again, reach out with my mind to my necklace and just kind of be thinking, all right, my girl's really hurting, and I don't know what to do. If there's any way I can get around this or help, please help me out here.
Roll a D100.
All right, that's a 63.
You don't get any response.
All right.
You feel the connection, but there's no response.
Makes sense. We are in like an anti-magic area, so
It's more like you're getting a busy tone.
ooh, fine. I'm getting a dial tone. Just pulling a Koparin.
More or less, you feel the reception, but they're focused on other things right now, so they don't have the capability to respond.
Yeah, like talking to mom while she's on the phone.
Yeah. More like when she's on the computer. But during this time, Racha, you are currently, I believe, in a bush.
I had hidden in a bush and thrown my gong out to try and make the person go, oh, here, this is the thing that's been making the noise. And then just turn it off.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, yes, you rolled a 4, I believe, on your attempt to throw.
Correct. And you said it went like 5 or 10 feet, and I imagine it rolled a little bit more, but that's about it.
Yeah, it you threw it 4 feet, and then it rolled to about 10 feet. Before the loud, echoing, gonging noise, which shattered the back windows of the first and second floor of this building. The Goliath that's out there quickly runs over to your direction. Finds the gong, or the orb, and as it goes off again, as soon as he's picking it up, he kind of like shakes his head, kind of like looks at it really quickly, and as it gongs one more time, he kind of like extends it as far out as he can with his hand, and then yeah, he doesn't know how to turn this thing off. He's just gonna bury it. That's the best thing he can do at the moment.
I'm pretty much gonna remain hidden until things die down at this point.
Well, after a few of the gongs go off, which it's once every 6 seconds, so it's about 20 seconds worth of gonging. There is the two guards that were back here round back around the corner to the Goliath as he's just finishing up burying this thing. What's going on? I don't know. It makes really loud noises. Hurts my ears. Is this what made noises earlier? I don't know. Take it out. Let's hear it. I really don't want to take it out. It's really loud. It makes all the glass go boom. Well, we need it anyway. If we don't show Master, then he'll think we're stupid. Well, he's got a point. Shut up. Dig it up. I don't want to. Don't be a pussy. Just dig it up. And so the Goliath who dug it down starts scraping at the dirt, and another gong goes off, and it's much more audible this time. And the Goliath who has been dealing with it this whole time is kind of getting a sense of how often it goes off. So right before it's about to go off again, he grabs a hold of the gong and throws it into the other Goliath's hands, and then starts taking a few steps back. As the gong goes off, and this Goliath, oh fuck! And he shoves it back into the hole and sits on it. Oh, this is fucking loud. I told you. Right, get one of the nerdy guys out here. Maybe he can make it go stop. I'll go. And so, the one that came out of the two that rounded the corner, one of them leaves, and you got one guy that's sitting over the hole that has the gong in it, and then the other guy who's kind of standing about 10 feet away. And they're just kind of sitting there waiting for each gong to go off. And if you're staying still, then in about a minute and a half later, that Goliath comes running around with a human, actually. A human male. Very skinny, even though he's wearing decently long robes. Very thin individual, gaunt. His skin kind of sticks to his cheekbones and his chin. His white, grayish hair frazzled beyond belief and unkempt, but his robes are nice. He comes running out. All right, where's as another gong goes off, which looks like it's coming from the ass of the Goliath who's sitting down. So it looks like he just let out a very large fart. And Goliath kind of waits for the gong to finish ringing, and then stands up, grabs the orb, and tosses it to the human, who's going to try and catch it. Hey, big man rolling that 20 on the dex save. He does catch the orb, and he kind of looks it over really quick, sees where the lines meet up and how they're off center, and before the next gong goes off, he kind of Rubik's Cubes shift, flip, and makes it become inert. This is an interesting device. You guys just found it back here? Yeah, I found it making a bunch of noise and destroyed all the windows. Oh, it's curious. Where did you find it exactly? I found it right here. And he's pointing at the hole where... Alright, it seems to go off pretty rapidly. Did you see where possibly it came from? If it was planted, thrown, left? I don't know, I found it right here. Alright, don't think I'm gonna get much farther with you. Let's take it to Master and see what he wants us to do. I like that plan. My ears hurt. Oh, come here. And he reaches out to both the Goliaths and puts a hand on on an ear for each one of them. And a little bit of white energy dissipates out of his hands to... Oh, much better, thank you. Not a problem. You've gotta help each other out when we can. I like you, little nerdy one. My name's John, but I'll take it. Thank you. And with that, the four of them, all start walking around the building and are soon out of sight.
Wait, so I'm alone now?
I think you're alone now.
Oh, snap. And he's just gonna, like, be panicked, and if a bird could be sweating, but he sort of, like, takes a little bit of a heavier breath and then, like, looks up towards the second story and, like, squints and is trying to figure out a way how he could climb up there.
Okay, make a perception check. Seeing a few different, remember you kind of did this last time. The windowsill of one of the windows near the corner will be enough to kind of help you hop, skip, and jump from the top of one window on the first floor to the side of the lattice work that kind of goes up, and then you could use that to kind of acrobatic your way onto the sill of the second floor window.
He's gonna try and do that then.
All right, give me acrobatics. As if your bird body was made for such feats of acrobatics, you deftly move between the top windowsill, the side lattice work to the bottom sill, and end up kind of doing a Jackie Chan-esque jump, tap, jump, and kind of like sit on the windowsill and sort of spin a little bit. And you find yourself that the window is open, and, well, it's destroyed glass, so of course it's open.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's shattered.
Yeah. And so you kind of, off the latticework, jump onto the sill and kind of spin on your butt. So that way you're kind of like moving the glass out of the way rather than stepping on it. And you kind of spin your butt, and then you are inside the room.
Awesome. Do I need to spark up my candle, or is it...
This room here is... It's decently well lit, so you don't need your candle. Inside this room, you're looking what seems to be a bedroom. Very regal-esque in its overall design and size. Much more spacious and accommodating compared to the rooms that, like, Bryn and the other contestants are dealing with. This has a master of a bed here. A large vanity mirror atop, next to a boudoir that has just everything in this room is carved to perfection, very well made. You can tell a lot of these pieces aren't from like a single set. This is a little bit here, a little bit there. You can see the different sorts of carpentry skills from probably different lands, different color woods and stones, that leads you to wonder where they might have come from. There's certain things that you can recognize, some like oaks and dark woods, to interesting white and black woods that you've never seen before in your life. But as you look around, you see magnificent paintings of various landscapes of places you've never seen. You're seeing interesting little statuettes. You're seeing a couple chests that line different corners. You're seeing closets. You're seeing... It's a very well-furnished bedroom.
I guess I will be looking for whether or not there's a safe in here, or something with diamonds.
Looking around, I can save you a perception check. There is nothing that screams safe. Go ahead and give me a history check. You've never even seen a safe.
I would have thought I've seen some in like the caravans I rode in. But
Those are more of locked chests and well guarded. As far as like an actual safe that resides in a single area and is not meant to be moved, you've never. Those are very rare to begin with, and not easily seen by most. Usually only purchased by very wealthy individuals. And though you've had some run-ins with some decently wealthy ones, you have not been in their homes to their more intimate locations and seen what they might keep safe and sacred.
gotcha. I'm gonna assume he's wealthy though. But
Just a little bit.
Yeah, he's gonna do his best to sneak towards the front of the room then, and like listen at the door to see if there's still some movement going around outside.
Okay, go ahead and give me another perception check. Listening out into the hallway through the door, which the door is actually it's a double door. The door is a nice thick wood. Hard to really hear through, but from what you can tell, no one's moving around outside.
Gonna, as quietly as possible, crack the door to take a look out.
Alright. Go ahead and roll a stealth check. You crack the door open and stop it just before. You know how whenever you open an old door, if you open it super slowly, you can feel when it's about to creak because it starts to give you some resistance. That's what you start to feel in this door. You crack it open about a good inch and a half, but you start to feel that resistance of a creak coming. And you're like, ooh, and you stop. And as you peek your eye out into the hallway to do so, luckily you did, as there is a guard standing against the side of the door. He's not standing in front of the door, he's standing off to like the door frame. And if he's standing there, you can guess that there's probably another one on the other side that you can't see, on the opposite side of your door.
Yep, and he's gonna slowly bring it back and sort of look around the room. He's probably gonna dip into the closet just so he has a feels safe-ish space to try and sit and think for like a moment, because he's kind of running on adrenaline from the situation downstairs.
Okay, so you go into the large expansive closet and swing the doors open. There are a plethora of tunics, pants, robes, hooded coats, and the like. Down at the bottom, there's a plethora of shoes and different sort of pouches, assortments, handbags, men and women. And then sitting at the bottom right of the closet itself is this squared metal. And as you look at it, it's not actually in the closet technically. A cutout has happened at the bottom of the closet where this metal box actually rests on the floor through the bottom of the closet itself. But it seems to be a smooth box with a top hatch, and the hatch seems to have some sort of intricate lock on it.
Interesting. He is definitely curious about that, but like I said, he's definitely going to try and like calm and steady his nerves a little bit, probably just to take a breath, and then he'd like to go over and inspect the box and see if he can at least determine if it's trapped before he starts poking.
Make an investigation check. looking at the box and looking around as much as you can, it doesn't seem to be trapped in any way that you can tell.
Before trying his lockpicks, he's going to try any of the 4 keys that he stole off of the dead body.
The lock on the front of this thing, it's an interesting... It's not so much like a keyhole, but a large indentation into the metal itself, and it kind of like slides under. So it's almost like a handle, but where you would put your fingers, you can't see where that goes. It goes into darkness. There is also a lock kind of next to it, but taking a look at this box with your perception check. Actually, make another perception check. Okay. It looks like that extra little kind of lock area is more for locking it afterwards rather than opening it. So this little divot, dark area is going to be the way to open this box. And none of them fit keys that you have.
If I'm like looking through my thieves' tools, would I get the sense that I could even do it with the thieves' tools or not?
Yeah, you probably could.
He's here to steal something, he knows, so he's assuming something's gonna be locked. It's gonna be behind the lock, so he's gonna try and pick.
All right. Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check. Just barely making it past the DC. You start to slide your tools into this little crevice using different tensions, using a majority of your kit, that way more than a regular lock would ask for you to do. But you finding different tumblers and different things that push away, and you're like, oh, I need to keep tension on this. So you end up having about 7 or 8 tools in this thing before it finally gives way and you feel a release on the inside. And the majority of your tools kind of fall and clatter a little bit, and you kind of scoop them up quickly.
It's just like, fucking hell. And somebody else's voice that I'm sure he's heard. But he's still going to be very careful about it, especially after watching Saren get hit by that trap and the treasure chest, or at least knowing that that's what happened. And he's going to edge it open slightly and see if like there's within side, if there's like some sort of trap mechanism if he opens the door entirely.
Okay, go ahead and give me another perception. Unfortunately, as you're lifting it up, you can't. I mean, the way that it's, it's not just like an opening of a side door or something like that. You would need to take the lid completely off to be able to look at anything on the inside.
Alright, well, because he would think that it's not trapped, he's going to still be slow about it so that it doesn't make any sort of noise, but he will open it up entirely.
Okay, so as you lift it up, it is not trapped. And you've basically stumbled across what seems to be a fine jewelry stash. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. Not bad.
I'm all over the place, and I'm not liking this.
So, as you kind of start sifting through, you find 4 little bars of some sort of metal. You find a couple necklaces of different stones. You find about 40 platinum, sort of loose and almost like a change jar, someone just tossing them in. You also find some brooches that have different colored stones in them. You find cufflinks that seem to be decently nicely made and have some darker stones inlaid inside them. You find some bracelets. This is just a general jewelry stash.
Not knowing exactly what a diamond is, he's gonna assume that this is what he wanted, and he's gonna seal it.
One thing I will say, you are smart enough for this. You were told to get diamonds. The different colors and amount of stones in here, there's not really like a lot of one type of stone. So it wouldn't lend to the this is what you're after situation.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you got like bracelets that have emeralds in it. You've got a necklace with a ruby. You've got some like small diamond stud earrings, but you've also got like jade bracelets. I mean, it's kind of like all over the place for different events and attires. So it's not like a sack full of diamonds, you know?
Gotcha. So then, he will probably, even if it's not working for him, try and fit the stuff into the bag of holding, just as like a sack that he can have.
Okay. Well, how much? You emptying it?
At least the shiny stuff, which is probably all of it. So yeah, I guess just empty it.
Okay. I will give you a list of items that you now have in that sack.
And then, figuring that the people were still there, he'd probably head back towards the window and see if he can sort of shimmy along the outside of the building to get over to the next room or not.
Okay. So you get out to the windowsill and look across. You could probably jump it, but it's going to be a little dangerous. There is nothing really in between, or the windowsills aren't connecting, so it's not like you can just, side skirt it, and you're going to have to make a jump to get to it.
Yeah, I get it. So, well, when I get out onto the windowsill, does the magic of the bag start working?
Nope.
Alright, so then, I mean, he's got to keep going. So, if he doesn't feel like he's got what he wants, he's got to go for it.
Okay. So I need an acrobatics check if you're going to try to make the jump. All right. Luckily, it's not too far to the next window as you make a large leap and stretch out your hands to grasp. You do end up taking 2 points of piercing damage as you miss it landing on your feet and you have to grab the ledge with your hand, which has shattered glass on it. But you hold yourself through the stinging of the blood starting to escape from your fingertips and pull yourself up, kicking excess glass away. You look into the room before going inside, and you see this room is interesting. It's still decently well lit, but the room itself seems to be 2 rooms. One half of so if you took a large room and then sectioned a quarter of it off and made a partitioned room out of it, that's what it kind of looks like. Behind the door that you would guess leads to the hallway, as that door would open into the room, directly to your right, there's another door in this partitioned little area. So a quarter of the room has been sealed off, almost like a bathroom inside of a bedroom. But the rest of the room inside here has a nice carpet, a couple chairs, a small table in the corner that has a few different implementations of some sort on it that you're not sure of, as well as a small bookcase with only about maybe 15 or so books. And then a shorter but longer table that kind of runs the length of the wall against the window that also has a few different implementations on it.
If it looks empty, he's gonna head in to see what he can.
Yeah, no, it's in here.
So he'll sort of, I guess, hop onto the desk. I guess with the window, the desk would be the first thing in the room, right?
It's a long, short table underneath the window.
So he knows not to, that if he's caught and he's worried about getting caught, that it's going to double back on to the rest of the group. So is there a way for him to essentially like take this slight piece of glass that he took, that he cut himself on, and take that with him, and then bandage his hand so that it's not like profusely bleeding anywhere?
Yeah, as far as like the broken glass that you cut your hand on, it's just pieces of shattered glass that was on the windowsill. If you wanted to like cover your tracks as best as possible, cleaning the windowsill that has your blood on it would probably be your best bet, as taking a handful of broken glass is a little difficult, and some of it has probably already fallen to the ground.
If he had lost some of it already, he'd find it useless anyways, and just sort of take a look around the room, then searching for whatever he thinks might be.
Okay, go ahead and give me an investigation check. What are you starting with? You've got, as far as things here, you've got the partitioned room. You have the long, small table that runs against the wall and window. You've got a higher up but shorter table that has some implementations on it, and then you have a bookcase.
Probably the long table, since it's the thing he would have had to climb over to get into the room anyways.
Okay. Investigation. Looking around here, there's a lot of glass vials, a couple metal instruments that you're not sure what they do or their origin. From few interactions that you've had with this, these vials look like these same sort of vials that you've seen some health potions come in, so you get the off sense that this might be some sort of potion making table.
Makes sense to him. So one side of the 3/4, so one edge of the short table has the taller table, and the other edge has the bookcase.
For quick reference, let me just kind of make it for you here.
It's whichever thing is further away from the door, from the partitioned off area, he's going to investigate that next, and then make his way around the room towards the partitioned area, kind of deal. So far, I'm getting the American flag vibe. Even now, because
So, obviously you're bigger right now in this scenario, but the long blue table, the larger desk, and then the bookcase. And then this is the extra partitioned room that has a door right here.
Gotcha. So then he'd probably make his way down the long table to the smaller table. Is the next thing you check.
All right, give me another investigation check. All right. Looking on this table, go ahead and give me a history check as well. You've seen these items, but you're not exactly sure what they do. It seems to be some sort of mirrored glass, as well as a couple bits of metal instruments that look like they hold small items. A couple prodding instruments, all made of metals. Overall, there's not a whole lot here. It looks to be more of like an examination area for something.
Gotcha. In all honesty, Brian doesn't even know what that is. But he's going to go check out the bookcase then.
It's a bunch of jeweler's tools.
Gotcha.
All right, so investigation for the bookcase. Go ahead and give me a investigation check. A lot of this is in words that you don't recognize, languages foreign to you. Some don't even have words on them themselves. There is no bookends that are ornamental. There's no special looking extra things besides just about 20 or so books that seem to go from ratty to pristine. Just kind of all haphazardly put in here. Doesn't seem to be any order, at least that you can make out.
Makes sense. I think he's gonna like look back at the other two things and see that they're kind of like workbenches, and then assume that they're like some sort of work texts for the most part, and then head towards the door and see if he can get in through this door.
Okay. You open it, and it is unlocked.
And do it slowly and quietly, but still.
Yep, it opens out towards you, so as you're kind of slowly doing, it doesn't seem to have any creak to it. It seems to be a well-used door. And as you open it up, there sits another door in front of you, a large metal door. Looks like it's made out of iron or steel or something.
Just sort of softly gonna go, huh? And then see if he can somehow open this door.
There is 4 keyholes spread out, 2 on the left, 2 on the right, in front of this large center portion that seems to be the opening device that looks like it turns in a certain way.
Well, I happen to have 4 keys. I might as well try those.
You pull out the keys, and as you go to insert them into one of the lock's keyhole spots, you realize, oh, these are not the right keys. The key, basically, you can put the entire key inside one of these openings.
Gotcha. So, I'm not sure. Give me a second.
What was that?
I'm not sure. Give me a second.
They're still locks, so you can try picking them.
Yeah, I guess I'm just looking through like what I might have, because his next thought was like, do I light it? But but he'll try picking them if he thinks that his thieves' tools can do it for sure.
Yeah, with minor implementations, you could probably get it done.
Yeah, he'll at least try that first.
All right, which one you want to start with? You got left and right, and then up and down.
Upper left.
Okay, go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check. With it being a little bit on the higher scale, like this top key opening is right about a little higher than eye level, and so it makes things a little bit difficult to try and maneuver and work. But as you try, you're not sure if it's the angle that you're doing it or just everything. It's not seeming to work. It's just not connecting how you need it to.
He's gonna pull out from it, sort of stroke his fake beard. Is there like a chair over at the small bit or the
Yep.
lawn? He's gonna go get the chair and stand on the chair and try.
Okay, give me another sleight of hand.
Do I get advantage for any particular reason?
Oh, lower the DC. After a few moments of messing around with the lock in this newer, elevated situation, you eventually are able to get all the tumblers to lock into place. As you do so, you hear sort of a coming from inside.
He's not exactly gonna know what that means, but he's gonna move the chair over and start with the other right top one.
Sleight of hand. Using your previous knowledge, you kind of find the different tumblers, slightly different spots, but pretty much all the same, and you and it all seems to fall into place. The ticking speeds up.
All right, then I'm gonna. He's still not really gonna understand what that is, so he's still gonna go, but he'll drop down to the one below it now.
All right, sleight of hand. As it's kind of unnervingly rushing you, this faster pace of the ticking, and you're kind of like trying not to focus on it and focus on what you're doing, you end up snapping one of your tension rods. Luckily, thieves' tools come with a couple, but if you get another nat 1, your thieves' tools are kaput.
Makes sense, but he's.
But the ticking is still going.
Yep. He's gonna just drop the chunk that was snapped off into like pull it out and then try and work it again.
All right. Kind of centering yourself and getting everything going ready, you and the ticking.
Sounds like my Naruto running, but I will slip over to the other one.
All right. You're with this sped up version. You're like shit, and you're trying not to break things, and you keep slipping on this one tension rod. Slip, and it's just like, oh, I'm so close to finishing, and then you hear a. Sounds like all the locks have reset themselves.
Bugger. Did I end up losing them or not?
No, you still have the set. I just counted it as 2 failures, and that was enough to reset all the locks.
Just gonna like look it over and be annoyed by it, but then
And the ticking has stopped.
yeah, he figures that the timer was basically to relock all the locks.
Yep.
But would it be safe to assume that this metal door is metal all the way around?
Yeah, so as you open up the door into this partitioned room, this metal door meets you almost immediately. There is no gap inside this room for you to, like, go around this metal box that this is created in here. It is almost flush with the wall.
My thing I'm asking is, like, would I be able to, like, carve through the wall if I could?
I mean, you could, but from the look of this door and with the little bit that you can see through the small gap between the wall and this box, you're guessing it's all metal.
Makes sense. So, then, I guess he would just... If he's still got his tools, he's gonna...
One thing that's giving you a good idea is that it looks like the same metal that little box where you got all that jewelry from is made out of.
Makes sense. Was there anything in that jewelry box that happened to have that looked like a key that would fit you?
Nope. I would have told you if there was.
Makes sense. Yeah, he'd probably try and look towards the table because he knows he broke a piece of his set, and see if he can, like, scavenge another piece, just so that if, like, another piece breaks, he doesn't completely screw himself over.
Okay, go ahead and give me an investigation check again. Not the long skinny table, but the examiner's table. You're able to find a small metal implement that could be used as a tension rod.
Sounds good.
Luckily for these type of locks, since they're bigger. Regular, like, door locks, it wouldn't work.
He'll take what he can get, and he'll get back to trying. As long as nobody seems to, like, have noticed that he's in this room and things are ticking in here.
Nope. I mean, you're not hearing anybody rushing towards you outside, and I mean, there's no one else in here, so.
He's gonna keep giving it a go.
Alright, go ahead and give me another sleight of hand.
The same order that he did last time. Upper left, upper right, lower right.
Alright, so you jump up to the upper left using your new tool and working at it. You feel it all get up to the second one, and the tension rod is just getting it's you haven't worked with it before, so it's just getting it a little too hard to get the tumblers correct.
He's gonna go at it again.
All right. Kind of putting a different bend to your elbows and how you work in the rod, kind of like letting it's heavy enough for it to free float a little bit. You're able to get the tumblers in position. You hear the
And again, let's go. Come on. Oh, it's still a 3.
this new, I mean, you figured out how to work it when you're standing on top of the chair, but now that you're on the floor, it's another hard, interesting way. It doesn't seem to work.
He's a shit.
Still having a hard time with it. And the ticking stops.
Son of a bitch. He just sort of says that under his breath.
Yep. 5 failures and it resets.
Makes sense. I mean, we could keep going at it. He's not going to stop until somebody tries to stop him.
Yeah, no, there's other things going on, so continue sleight of handing. So reset back to the top left one. You're having a hard time. The nerves are kind of getting to you now. Your hands are starting to cramp up from working it so much. Your neck's starting to hurt from craning it in an awkward position.
He's just getting frustrated at himself at this point. He's like, God. It's sort of takes a minute to rub his hand and
Kind of the whole step back stretch.
Yeah, look at it like, I've done it before. I know how to do it. What the hell? He's gonna pull out his left leather shoe for good luck and give it a peck and put it back and then go at it.
Alright, go ahead. And you get it. The tumbler's falling into place and the tick, 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 starting up again. But as you move over, that no shoe luck this time. There you go. With that, you're like, fuck this! And like perfectly, smoothly, as it all falls into place in the You use your momentum and your success to push you forward, and the ticking stops, and it all resets.
Really? That was only one fail?
Oh, you also failed 4 times as you were getting started. It counts those.
No, I figured it once the timer started, it was counting.
Nope.
Gotcha.
Other things at work here. You can try again. Again, being so close yet so far, it's resets you. You get pissed off. And neck, hands, and everything is hurting. And at that point, you just fucking throw your tools on the ground and say, fuck it! And then you come back and you're like, no, I got this! And pooh! The first tumblers fall into place, and the ticking starts up again. The tumblers for the second lock fall into place, and the ticking speeds up once more. The ticking intensifies. And with that, the last one, you hear the tumbler fall into place, and you hear a... And this large handle-like thing in front of you that points from 12 to 6 o'clock kind of extends out from the door a little bit. And the ticking has stopped.
He's still gonna be wary of traps, but he's gonna try and get this door open.
So as you grab this handle and try and feel... You try to pull it first, and it doesn't go anywhere or do anything. But then you kind of like try to rotate it, and you realize that it rotates to the right, and you turn it a quarter, so that way it's parallel with the floor. And the handle retracts itself back into the door, and then the door itself slides off to your right into the wall of the metal box. And in front of you sits a vast, wide array of different items, stones, money, metal, armor, weapons. A true treasure hoard of different items and wealth.
His immediate thought is, holy fuck, who am I stealing from?
But it's open. And there's plenty to look at, plenty to grab, plenty to make you set for life.
He's gonna try and find what appears to be a sack of all of a singular gem that might be diamonds.
Make a quick investigation check for me. Looking around, everything seems to be put in here specifically for different areas. So there's all the weapons are on one wall, all the armor below it. All the money and different types of money. You see gold, platinum, and trillium, silver, copper, bunch of different types of money you've never seen before. All off in one corner as well. You see a small little, looks like a dresser, but all the drawers are see-through. And you see there are a bunch of stones in each of these drawers, but on top there's a skull. And the skull itself has a circlet on its head embedded into it of these shining rainbow-esque reflecting white diamonds. Where the eyes are, socketed inside are two large diamonds. The jaw itself seems to be lined with diamonds. Where the ears have their openings, diamonds sit in there as well. And where the teeth are still there, but they seem to be biting and fused together with a large array of diamonds as well. Scattered around this head, different sizes, cuts, shapes, and rarities of the same sort of stone.
So he thinks that that's like the most ornate thing here. And I was like, I'm gonna go for that, I guess. And he's gonna move over towards it. Does it look like the skull is like movable in its entirety, or am I gonna have to like pull out the diamonds individually?
No, it looks like it's just resting on top. Looks like with these stones inside, it's going to be heavier than a regular skull would be, but not unmanageable.
Does the pedestal it is on appear to be trapped?
It's not on a pedestal. It's on like a little dresser itself.
Gotcha. So it's almost like this is the requirement. This thing has the diadem on it.
Something like that. It looks like a small, almost end table. And in all the drawers are different types of stones, rubies, emeralds, and so on. But the top is all these clear, diamond-esque things with this skull-laden, diamond-laden skull on top. So there's other diamonds around it as well.
Alright, so then he will gingerly look towards it, and if it doesn't appear to be trapped, pick up the skull, ready to place it back down in case something goes on.
Okay, make an investigation check. Looking at the skull itself, it sits on a tray, as well as some diamonds on the inside, kind of scattered around the tray as well. But doesn't seem to be, there's no like crossbow on the back of it or something like that. It doesn't seem to be trapped.
I'm not going to have to Indiana Jones this, is my question.
Possibly. I mean, from what you're seeing, it doesn't seem like it.
Can he get does he have a rough idea of how heavy it is or no?
I mean, it looks like an elven skull. And you haven't dealt with elven bodies too much, but it doesn't look like it's going to weigh 50 pounds. It's probably going to weigh 10 pounds or so.
He's going to empty out his the stuff that was in his bag of holding in onto the tray as he's lifting up the skull, just to be safe.
Okay, so the jewelry and the money and such that you took from the other safe?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and you're just gonna dump it on the tray?
More like carefully as I'm lifting up. I'm Indiana Jonesing, basically, as I'm
Okay.
pouring.
Okay, so you try to swap the stuff, trying to roughly guesstimate that it would weigh the same. As you do so, there is a bit of resistance at one point from the head as it's lifting off. And you can see underneath the head now there is a string attached somewhere up inside the cranium where it was, down to the tray. And as soon as the tension and you kind of like look at it, it snaps. And you hear you got about 30 seconds. What do you want to do?
All right, he's gonna just drop the skull into his bag and see if he can scoop off the rest of the diamonds as if
Okay.
like that's possible. He's just gonna go.
All right, so just the diamonds in the skull?
Yep, and just the diamonds in the skull, and then when he's out the door, he's going to put stuff the linens that he took off to the side, light the candle, and leave the candle on the linens to try and burn the room.
Okay, so as you get the rest of the diamonds off the top and the skull and shove it into your bag, overall it's about 15 pounds worth of stone. And you kind of get out the door, you run over and start getting the candle and the linens ready as the door to the safe, about 10 seconds after you left, slides shut once more. And as you're standing here, you start to hear as the floor starts to vibrate a little bit. Not a lot, not like earthquake shattering, but a little bit. An awkward alarm, if you will.
So I didn't make it out.
You did. You made it out with 10 seconds to spare.
So I'm not in the smaller room.
No, you're in the larger room.
Okay, so then I'm gonna head back towards the window, and as I'm leaving the window, I'm going to drop that paper with the stuff on it, and scurry my way out as quickly and quietly as possible.
Where exactly in this room did you want to put the candle and the linens?
It would have been like right at the doorway, pretty much, essentially.
So right where your character's at?
Wait. Oh, in the bigger room? I thought I was leaving it inside the smaller room. Was what I was aiming to try and do.
Oh, you wanted to put it in there? Oh, yeah, that's easily possible then.
Yeah, that was where he was going to try and light the fire, because he figures that's the room that he wants to burn. If it's a room at all, he wouldn't have.
Okay.
Have,
All right then. Yeah, so I would say you had an extra time to set that up to hopefully let it burn inside. Okay, so you leave the notes roughly where your character's at?
No, it'd be like as I'm going out towards the window, so it'd probably like fall onto the light table as much as possible. Make it look like it
Gotcha.
was lost there on accident.
Okay. Easy enough to do. And with that, Nori, Bryn, you guys hear a knock on the door of the room.
Is this the person coming to get Bryn?
Possibly.
Well, before that would have happened, can I have said something to Nori?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. Before the knock, Bryn trying not to show that she's a little worried about this because she knows this is going to be a hard fight. She's going to hug Nori. No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. um, don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this. And then
Go ahead.
I was just, I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this. And then I hug you back.
I just. If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay. And she will kiss the top of her head.
We'll take it.
Nori is shocked into silence and goes, I'll be safe.
Knock, knock, knock.
And Bryn will go get the door.
The man in the magnificent orange robes stands in front of you and says, "You are required for the show before the next battle."
She'll nod.
Your friend can come along as well. It's definitely an interesting show that I'm sure you've not seen before.
Nori will nod and come along as well.
And with this, you're actually able to follow Bryn as the announcer takes you guys through the back area that, Bryn, you've gone through twice already. Taken over to the side of the arena, Bryn, that you're familiar of entering from, but this time there's a couple chairs that have been set up. You take one of the chairs with Nori in tow, and you can see across the sand pit from you there is an Arakakra who has nobody next to him, but is sitting, kind of staring at you, Bryn.
She's gonna stare back, not wavering.
If a bird could smile, you would see a slight grin appearing on his face. But a few moments later, the announcer stands up once more with the expanded voice. "Well, I hope everyone has had a wonderful night tonight. The battles have been quite interesting. But tonight we have an interesting little show for you as well. We hope you enjoy and tell your friends, for this might be a recurring theme of our engagements coming henceforth. So, without further ado, we bring you the Valkyrie's Requiem," as he kind of bows and walks away. As the lights in this room start to dim, almost to a darkened state, the light on these sand pits stays bright and actually increases in intensity. 3 individuals come striding out. 2 of them seem to be some sort of high elf, and the third seems to be a blue-skinned, green-haired individual. They're all wearing robes, but shorter cuffed. And then one female shows up behind. You can tell immediately, Bryn, this is a Valkyrie from the runes that travel around her arms and back. She has interesting manacles on, or bracers on, and it seems to be the same style of necklace around her throat. She stands there behind the 3 of them as the high elf in the front, a very shocking red-haired high elf turns around, pulls out a stack of papers, and then throws them up in the air in front of the Valkyrie. They hover in midair, and then he moves his hands, and they orient themselves to be 10 pages situated in rows of 3 with a single one down at the bottom in the middle. They hover right in front of the Valkyrie's face, with the highest row being just above her head height. The high elf in the front turns around. The blue-skinned individual kind of focuses his hands for a moment, and as he releases, this interesting instrument appears in his hands. It almost looks like a lute, but seems to be made completely out of some sort of metal. And it's a little bit larger. The high elf in the front with the red hair kind of takes off his robes, and you see a network lattice style of straps and leathers that go all over his body. The other high elf, who has midnight black hair, kind of pulls out this interesting string device, kind of harp-esque, but it is in the form of a V, and the way he situates it, one half of it goes down and connects to the ground while the other half comes out, not quite at a 90-degree angle, but more like a 110, 120, and he holds it in one hand. He sits there. And the high elf in the front kind of bows his head. And then you see the Valkyrie in the back kind of stretch her neck, relax her arms, holds them out in front of her, and then with a speed that you've only seen very few, even in the Valkyries, do, she starts striking the different pieces of paper. And as she makes contact with each one, it lets out a different beat. After a few notes, the blue-skinned individual starts playing his metallic lute that seems to be amplified in noise and a lot more strenuous in sound, which is discordant but still beautiful in a weird way. The black-haired high elf starts to play, and you see that his hands move across the top of these strings while one of his feet is playing the strings on the bottom. It gives a haunting echo to itself. And as the front elf starts to sing with an interesting flurry of illusion magic, as well as magic used for his vocals to increase his voice and then decrease it to make you like listen in and then pull back, and it's very, like I said, hauntingly beautiful situation going on with all the instruments and the players of it. This goes on for about 25 minutes, them playing at first what you thought was one continuous song, but it seems that they've just found a soft merge between multiple songs. Some different songs seem to be a reimagining of older songs that even some of the patrons sing along with during known parts. And at the end, the blue-skinned individual disappears, his lute, the black-haired high elf collapses and puts his instrument away. The front elf, high elf, turns around and resummons all the parchments together and puts them away, and then they all bow to everyone, to a roaring applause, whoops and yells, and Bryn, it is an interesting feeling for you. Because you can tell this woman is enslaved somehow. But even in her enslavement is able to create beautiful music. And yes, I just created the rock band. What's up, bitches?
That's what I was thinking it was. Awesome.
Yep.
Bravo.
Does Bryn recognize her from home or anything like that?
Nope, she seems to be an older Valkyrie. Probably twice your age. But you do know that she was probably a monk. So, after all that is done, the announcer comes back on stage and let us hear it once more for Valkyrie's Requiem. Sorry. And many of the patrons clap, hoot and holler. And now, for our final bout, we have Brynhilde the Valkyrie, as he gestures towards you to kind of get you to stand and come up onto the pit.
Yep, she'll go as soon as her name is called.
And we have Kurak, Feather's Breath, the Defiler.
As he's walking, I'm going to reach out with my mind and just ever so softly, like almost like I'm not even there, start whispering things in Druidic.
Okay. As he stands up and starts walking, you see him kind of look up into his head for a moment, kind of like he's thinking of something, and you hear back, "Whoever you are, I will kill you next. Do not worry."
I don't respond. I just continue that whispering in Druidic.
Okay. And with that, he steps up onto the stage, kind of raises his hands to the applause that he's getting. And then, as he lowers his hand sharply and looks at the crowd, everyone stops applauding. All right. As the battles were before, the battle ends only on an incapacitation or execution. If both fighters are ready, begin. Roll initiative.
And as they are rolling initiative, my voice is steadily getting louder and louder.
All right. So, as the announcer backs off from the stage, you see Kurak kind of take a step forward, kind of cock his head to the side a little bit, crosses his arms in front of him, and then just stops, ending his turn.
Well, that's not suspicious at all.
So, what would you like to do? He's standing there in front of you, facing you directly, not turned or anything, and he's got his arms crossed in front of him.
All right. Well, that's not screwing with my head at all. Cool. We're just going to go with this plan. We are going to try to grab San in both hands, but just throwing one at his eyes, hopefully trying to blind him.
Okay, go ahead and make just a straight dexterity check. You toss one handful of sand, and he kind of just turns his head down and away a little bit, and the sand just glances off the top of his forehead as he keeps his eyes on you.
All right. Since that one didn't work, we're going to try the next one. And that'll be the other hand of sand.
Okay, now the dexterity check. This one being a little bit more effective in the point that he's got to turn his head down even further, so he's cutting off eye contact, but that would technically be considered 2 attacks.
Yes, we're gonna action surge.
Okay.
And she's gonna try to move behind to his back.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to make him prone by kicking out the back of his knee, trying to get him down.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack with advantage. First one hits.
So does that bring him down or no?
Nope. You kick his knee out, but he doesn't have all of his weight on one knee. So it's like you kind of like sweeped a leg out, but he's got the other leg holding him up. It's different if he was in a fighting stance, because...
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, we're gonna try to kick out the other one, too.
Okay.
Trying to get him down.
Go ahead. This
Damage
one does
again?
not have advantage, no. He knows you're back there now. You make contact, so you do the damage, but it's not enough to buckle the leg.
And then as a bonus action, can I grapple him?
You can certainly try. It's athletics versus his athletics or acrobatics. All right, you wrap your arms around him and you have him grappled.
And that's the end of our turn.
Okay. Nori, as your voicage has gotten louder in his head, he kind of, and now he's grappled, he kind of just looks up, looks down at the arms. You kind of feel him chuckle once. And then you just hear him let out a belt-roaring scream with the Arakraka bird pitch voice. Even Racha, you further down in the building can hear this screech ring out as he is going to rage.
Wonderful.
And your voice in his head gets knocked out, Nori.
Fun. I'm gonna try to get back in there.
Well, he's raging. Okay, so he is going to... Yeah, he's gonna reverse pile drive. So go ahead and give me an athletics check. So as you've got him grappled, he jumps up into the air and is falling backwards and collides with you. So he's going to basically body slam you. Well, reverse body slam you. How much do you weigh again, Bryn?
She's at 170.
Okay, so that's 135 weight difference. You take 8 points of bludgeoning damage. And I need you to roll another athletics check to see if you can hold on. And you do hold on. So, that being his first. Okay, he's going to try and break your grapple, so give me another athletics check. That is, where is it? Okay, he breaks free of your grapple and stands up, using half of his movement. You're currently prone. That'll be the end of his turn. He's still standing over you, but that ends his turn.
He's standing over me.
Yeah. You're currently prone. So basically, he jumped back, landed on top of you, ripped your arms open, and then got up and is now standing over you. He would be near your feet.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So think of yourself like on a bed, and he's at the foot of the bed.
We're gonna, try to kick him. I don't know. Birds have male genitalia like humans, but we're gonna try to kick him there. They do.
Okay, go ahead and you're still prone, so it's a disadvantage. That does not hit. So you try to kind of slide yourself and kick him in the nads, and you get close, but it kind of just whiffs just a little short.
Alright, damn it. We're gonna get up and use the momentum to try to punch him. Or uppercut him.
Gets an opportunity attack as you're getting up.
Yeah.
That is a 16 to hit.
Yep.
It's 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
And then, am I able to try to
You're
hit
able to
him?
get up. So you could swing again. Unfortunately, though, he kind of like dead arms you, and as he's pulling away, you kind of take the shot, and your arm just kind of like gives out and doesn't extend out all the way, and you finish getting up, kind of rubbing that little dead arm to wake it back up. That ends your turn.
Unfortunately, yeah.
All right. Sorry, I haven't played a barbarian in a while. Okay. He is going to... He's going to... Frenzy. So he can use his bonus action to make attacks as well. So out of his 3 attacks, it's a... Let's see, is it actions. Okay. It is a 21, a 23, and a 10.
So the 10 misses.
Okay, so you take 10 points of bludgeoning damage. As you kind of get up rubbing your arm, he just kind of lunges forward, giving a jab and then a cross, and both make impact, kind of sending you back a little bit. So when his second jab comes around, it kind of just catches the edges of your wrappings across your chest. Well, that'll end his turn. So he's standing in front of you with his left foot forward.
All right, we're gonna try to use my leg to sweep his leg up first.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack. Alright, so you kind of put your leg forward underneath the back of his leg and sweep it up, and you do get it. He doesn't go prone, but he is on one knee right now. So it's technically prone, so you have advantage on the hit, but he doesn't need to use half of his movement to get up. And it's 4 points of damage, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Reduced by half.
All right, can we try to grapple him and then grapple his head somehow and then punch it?
Okay, so you kind of want to choke grab him and then punch him in the head?
Sure.
Alright, so it's your athletics. He rolled low, but you rolled lower. So you try to grapple, and he kind of just... His neck is a little bit meatier than the other two people you've been neck grabbing.
Alright, well, she's still gonna try to punch him.
Okay, it's still advantage. Alright. So you just clock him in the side of the head and kind of takes it, and then he just looks back up at you with as much of a bird smile as you've seen Rachaw have.
Try something that's a little bit shenanigan-y, but I want to try it anyway.
Go for it.
So my mind thing works, right? And
Yep.
won't work, but it's worth a shot. So I want to try to use it to cast Healing Word through it, because Healing Word, I don't need to touch her. Could I try to use that to kind of almost create a guard over my spell?
You try to... First off, you would need to do a bunch of hand gestures as well.
Not with Healing Word, it's just verbal.
Okay. But you try to tap into that bit of magic in yourself, and it does not work. It seems like your druidic magic is not having much impact.
Alright.
Or you're not able to access it.
Yeah, I figured as much, I just thought I'd try.
Not a problem. Alright, that is your turn, Bryn?
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, he's going to step back up from his knee, and he's going to make reckless attacks at you. So the first one is a 19, and he crits on a 19. Natural 19, I mean. Second one being a 18. Third one being a 23.
Lovely.
So that's 20 points of bludgeoning damage. And he's just hitting you in the chest. He doesn't give a shit about your weak spots or anything at the moment. But when that first hit comes in, you feel a rib break. It's unmistakable. You've had it happen a couple times in your life. And not only that, but the sickening that you hear and feel, it's unmistakable. So you're on your left side, like your third rib up is now broken, which lowers your speed by half. But that's going to end his turn. So as he gets done hitting you all 3 times, he kind of steps back, still in your range, but doesn't have his guard up, is just standing there. Seething in rage, but just kind of standing there. What would you like to do?
Oh, good God. She's going to try to get around to the back of him.
Okay. Without any deterrent from him looking away from you, he's gonna turn with you.
Gotcha.
What would you like? 30 seconds, remember.
Sorry. I'm gonna try to grapple him.
Okay. Athletics. And you have advantage on all your attacks, by the way. That does not work. You try to reach out and grab him, and he kind of just slaps your hands away.
Alright, we're gonna go and just try to kick out his knees again.
Okay, go ahead and roll to attack. You have advantage. First one misses. Second one misses. You try to reach out. The first one misses wildly. The second one kind of clips his upper thigh, but glances off. Remember, if you're trying to kick a specific portion, his AC goes up.
Yeah.
That ends your turn.
Yeah, that's her turn.
Okay. Kurok's turn.
I try to call out to Trentamir again, because Nori's getting desperate.
Yeah, go ahead and roll another D100.
Seven.
Okay. You call out to Trentamir, and you hear a slight whisper of a yes.
I need your help, and I don't know what to do. I need to protect Bryn.
I'm trying to give you everything that I've got now. I mean, how do you think you're able to talk to people's minds?
Well, fuck. Thanks for that. Legitimately, thanks for that. Damn it.
I can't help any of your druid powers, but anything you get through me, I might be able to work.
Okay.
Sounds
okay.
like he's under heavy stress.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to using my warlock spell. I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers on the barbarian.
Okay.
So wisdom saving throw, and then it's 3d6 of psychic damage.
Are you doing it at a level, or which level are you doing it? He got a net 19, and he's got a +0 to wisdom, so he saves.
Yeah, he'll save. Do I have the sense that if I were to cast it at a higher level, it would work?
Using it your first time, you're not sure.
All right,
under these circumstances.
We're gonna try it first at a 3rd level.
3rd level? Okay. So you cast the Dissonant Whispers. It does work. He does save, obviously.
He only takes 8, but I don't think he takes half psychic damage.
No, it's just physical.
So I'm hoping when he takes that, he's going to be a little put off.
All right.
I don't know why I did it twice. Oh, it would be 3rd and... So wait, how much is that trying to cast it for?
No, that's you rolled 5d6.
Oh, okay.
You just
Sounds
clicked
good.
on it the first time for level 1, and then you did it for level 3.
Yeah, it would have been the level 3, so that's 16.
Yeah. Okay. So, the way it works is that you've got one of each of your level spells besides your 4th level, so you've used your 3rd level. So you got 2, 1 left.
All right, I can work with that.
So, Bryn, you see as you tried to kick out his legs and not making really any headway there, he's about to move, and you see him kind of like, it looks like he gets even though he's raging, which actually, by the way, let me make sure. Okay, no, that's just charmed or frightened. You see what looks like, even though he's pissed off and he's got like a furrowed brow, it almost seems like he's get a strenuous headache all of a sudden, and it kind of like squints his eyes and furrows his brow in pain before kind of like shaking it off and looking at you with renewed vigor, and his eyes kind of dart around to either side of you quickly and then out past you into the crowd to see who might be helping. But he is going to... Actually, with that happening to him, he's going to reckless attack, kick you. It's a natural 19, so he crits. So it doesn't do any extra thing to you, but I'll say he automatically succeeds in his shove move as he kicks you directly in the chest, giving you 10 points of bludgeoning damage and sending you 10 feet back. As he does so, he extends his wings out in front of him, and he's going to buffet you. Go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw. So, as he buffets, he's not really buffeting you, he's buffeting the sand to try and blind you. And with the wind and the sand getting kicked up, you are currently blinded. So you fail all ability checks that require sight. Attacks against you have advantage, and you have disadvantage on your next attacks. But he's going to close the gap once more and make another attack. As a 15 to hit.
Yeah, unless it was a specific thing.
No,
I
he's
guess,
just
on
punching you.
it. Yep.
Okay, so that's another 5 points of bludgeoning damage. And that ends his turn. So, for your sake, Nori, your initiative would be in between Bryn and Kurok's rounds.
Yep. Oh dear. Oh dear.
So, Bryn, your turn. You have Kurok in front of you, not really in any sort of fighting stance, kind of just standing there in front of you. Doesn't really feel the need to. You currently have a bunch of sand in your eyes. You're only blinded for 1 round, but you do have disadvantage on all your attacks.
I still have it, even though I have the blind sight and he's within range.
Oh, that would... Yeah, so no, you don't. So yeah, you're good.
We're going to try to grapple him again, to hopefully use her body weight and throw him to the ground, if it works.
Okay, athletics. You try to reach out and grab him, and your hands just slip on the feathers. You already have advantage on all your attacks because your blind sight cancels out the disadvantage, and he reckless, so you have
true.
advantage.
Okay. Okay, she's just gonna try to punch him. That's all she can think of at this point.
Okay, roll with advantage. That does hit.
I don't know why I didn't do it with advantage. Can I
Yeah, just
roll
roll
again
again,
to see if
yeah.
I
That still hits, so you're good. All right, so reaching out to him and just making contact with his body as best as you can. You do get some solid hits in, but with his physique and his mode of attack, it's not doing as much damage as you think it would. First time you're fighting a barbarian. Since in Valkyrie World, all the other people train separately. That ends your turn, though?
Unfortunately, yeah.
All right. Brings it back to his turn.
Oh, for me.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Nori,
I have a metagaming question real fast.
go for it.
Do you go by the rule that if she goes down, she has to take double her max hit points, or is it just if she goes down, he
Depends on the
snaps her?
situation.
And what would this situation be?
Have to experience it to find out.
I want to experience it to find out.
In normal battle, yes, you would need to take double the amount of health after you've been knocked unconscious to die. This isn't a normal battle, though.
I figured as much. All right, so we're gonna cast Dissonant Whispers at a 2nd level this time.
All right, wisdom save, right?
Correct.
That is a nat 18 with a +0.
That passes, and then Nori's going to hold her movement to do something incredibly stupid. If he goes to kill Bryn.
Okay. All right. So that ends Nori's turn, and he gets the same headache, and kind of like pushes through it with his rage, and you see it increase in intensity. And he's like staring now, and now he's staring at you, Nori, as he turns his eyes back to Bryn and just lets loose 3 attacks. And he's gonna go ahead and whip out his talons now, since he's getting pissed that someone else is helping. First one is a 19.
Yep.
Second one is a 12.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that 19 is going to put me down.
It wasn't a natural 19.
What damage would he do, though?
I have to roll for it. Talons get a roll. He's attacking you 3 times regardless if you go down or not.
Okay. Well, the 12 is my armor class.
Okay. And the last one being a 16. So,
Sorry, yep, that will all hit.
that is 7 points of damage for the first hit.
She's down.
As soon as she goes down, Nori jumps out of the dang thing and runs over to her.
She's unconscious, but she has not fallen down yet.
She hasn't fallen over yet?
Nope.
Do I see her, like, eyes closed and all that fun stuff?
This guy, she's got her back to you. Because she went around once, and then she went around twice. So she has her back towards you right now. This guy is unleashing his attacks consecutively. So it's like pop, pop, pop. It's not pop, oh, let's see if she falls, then pop, pop. So, the first one takes you out. Ryan, you can help me with this, but I believe once someone's unconscious, a melee is counted as a critical.
I'm not necessarily. I think it's like if it hits, then it is. It's not like an automatic crit, but
Well, if it hits, yeah, but all of them hit.
then I want to say yeah, and then that would be what it is.
Unconscious creature is incapacitated, drops whatever it's holding, fails saves, attack rolls have advantage. Any attack that hits the creature is a critical hit so the attacker is within 5 feet. Okay, so with that, you go unconscious off the first hit as the talons rake across your face. The second talons, you've gone dark now. The second talons raking across your chest. At this point, Nori, you start to see her falling to the ground as he reaches out for his third attack. What are you trying to do?
I am jumping down and I am going over her and I am pulling her out or shielding her, whatever, getting him away from this guy. I don't care what happens to me. This is what she would do.
You have split-second decisions to get there and make the distance. The only way that this will work is if you can pull a strength check to get her out of his way as she's falling.
I guess I'm shielding her.
No, you don't have time to get in between the attack. I'm saying you have enough time to get to her feet and pull her away.
I'm going to try to pull her away, even if I'm not strong. Just
Let's give me a strength check. Bryn, you weighed 170?
Yeah, that's what I have.
can I use athletics?
Yeah, you can use athletics. You need to roll a 17.
Damn it.
As you go to reach out and grab her legs and pull, just her, being decently heavy, and just a thick rock of a person, you're not able to get her out of the way in time as the last talon strikes rake across her back, upper back, and spine and back of the head as she starts to go down. She thuds against the floor of the sand pit and kind of does a small bounce as she is unmoving. The announcer comes up and starts waving and goes and kind of reaches down to Bryn, feeling for a pulse, finds nothing. He stands up. By way of execution, Kurok is our champion. Roar of applause and disgruntled groans from those that bet on Bryn erupt from the crowd. Kurok kind of looks at you, Nori, as you're huddling over her, flipping Bryn over and checking on her. and all you hear is he walks away and says, "I'll find you later."
You can fucking try. And then I'm going to try to get someone to help me get her out of the building.
Okay. As you starting to slide her off, the announcer comes over to you and goes, "It's okay, Dee. It's okay. Come on, take her to the triage. She's dead, but they can bring her back."
Okay.
So he takes, like, you've got her under one armpit and arm, and he kind of slips up underneath the other. As he sees you're probably not the best person to try and drag her away. And
Yeah, very clear.
kind of quickly waddles with you over to the triage room. As the announcer gets there, he kind of helps you put her on one of the beds. He goes, "We had a death, so please prepare the necessary spell." And you see one of the clerics kind of lean over to the other cleric. "Go get one of the diamonds." Racha. You've gone to the windowsill. You heard the screech of some other. Well, you've known Aarakocra, so you know this is an Aarakocra battle cry. As you shimmy your way out onto the windowsill, you can only guess that he is part of the last battle, and the battle has begun. What would you like to do?
Does it seem like anybody's in the courtyard?
No one's in the courtyard.
He'd try his best to get towards the, like, you said it was like a 10-foot fence, right?
Around the entirety of the thing?
Yeah, around like the gate, the courtyard and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's a 15-foot, and there's actual, like, distance to the fence until you get there. It's not, like, right next to the building. I believe for the backyard, we said it was like 40 feet. The sides, it's closer to 20.
Is it possible for him to get from the windowsill to the side fences, or no?
No. You're like the windowsill that you're in, because you came from a corner and then you went further into the building. So you're closer to the middle of the building right now as far as windowsills go, and you're on the second floor. So you need to jump back to the corner windowsill, and then from the corner window to the actual corner of the building is already a good 5-6 feet, and then from the corner of the building to the next wall is a good 20 feet. So that'd be a 25-foot jump.
Gotcha. So then he'd do his best to get down safely. So he'd probably go back at least over to the windowsill he jumped from first, and then try and climb his way back down like he did.
Well, I mean, from the second windowsill down to the floor, I mean, you have the bushes underneath you still, because it runs the length of the building back here. It's only about a 15-foot drop.
Would the glass be in there, though?
Oh, you also got the bushes, so I mean, it's not like you're landing on glass. You're going in the bushes. So
And then, yeah, I'll jump into the bush underneath me and then try and, like, circle my way around the building and as stealthily as possible.
Okay. Easy enough to do, and with the bushes, it slows your fall so you don't take any damage. You hop down and embrace the bush, and as you kind of finagle yourself out of it, which way do you want to go? Do you want to go so towards the right side of the building would be the wall that leads to the rest of Cydia. So, like, not the town side of wall. The left side of the building would be the town wall.
So is there not enough space around the side of the building to stay within the walls and go?
Yeah, there is. I'm saying, which way do you want to go? Do you want to go right or left?
He's gonna sort of pull out a small piece of paper again, like he did with his cigarette before, and roll it up into as much of a joint-looking thing as he can, and move his way stealthily around the left side. But that's going to be like his backup if he's caught.
Okay. So go ahead and roll stealth check. All right. So, did you say you're going? Which way were you going? I completely forgot.
Left, whatever that meant.
Yeah, because this building sits in the very corner of the town, and the back wall and the right wall are actually the town wall itself. So left would be towards the way of the rest of the town, where right would be towards open land.
Gotcha, I understand.
So you wrap around the left side of the wall. This is also the direction where the Goliath and that human ended up running towards. But you sneak around the corner. There's only one Goliath here, and he seems to be pressed up against the wall, sort of in a suspended sleep. But he's trying to make himself look like he's still on guard duty. He does not notice you as you sneak by.
Wonderful. And I will sort of come around the corner, still trying to not be seen, but pretending to smoke my smoke.
All right. Up at the front, there is a lollygagging of different individuals. As you start to get closer to the actual doors themselves, a large amount of people start to leave from the front of it. It seems that whatever was happening inside is over now.
He will weave his way in to try and see the result.
All right. Kaporin.
Kaporin's here.
During this time, as you're sitting there crying yourself to some sort of happy place, you all of a sudden hear noise again, and this door opens and light starts to stream in, and you kind of wince from the pain of the lights as your eyes start to readjust. Two Goliath guards stand there in front of you, and one of them reaches out and grabs you by the nape of the neck and lifts you up into a standing position. All right, come on. Time for you to get the fuck out of here. And he kind of pushes you out into the hallway and starts leading you towards the front door, where a mass of other people seem to be leaving.
Kaporin's gonna continue to pretend to be drunk to the best of his ability and follow the mass out.
Okay. No need for a performance check. They're not really caring what you're doing. They're just making sure you're heading in the right direction. During this time, you see a little bird fluttering his way through the crowd and heading inside, passing you. Richard, you pass by Kaporin as he's being escorted by two Goliath guards out the front door.
I will ignore it.
All right. Kaporin, you are escorted with this two guards and the group of individuals currently leaving to the front gates. They talk to the other guard, and they make sure that you are never allowed entry again.
Boo.
Richa, as you dip inside into the area of the fight, you see a couple stragglers of people who have been watching, but you don't see anybody on the fighting pit or around it.
Fight being over, he's going to assume people are in the triage and head that direction.
All right. As you're heading to the triage, you see an individual run out and run down one of the hallways. As you make your way in, you see Bryn lifeless on the bed. The announcer guy standing near the edge of the foot of the bed with one of the clerics, and Nori saddeningly standing beside Bryn.
the oh no TikTok playing in his head. He's like, huh? What the hell happened?
Nora, you hear this coming from behind you.
I don't think Nori turns away from Bryn and she just goes, she lost.
Oh, yes, the coordinator kind of rounds around the cleric. You were her coordinator. It seems your contestant has met an untimely death, and we are currently sending one of our clerics to get the necessary materials to bring her back.
I think I'm going to reach out to Richa because they said diamonds and you just came back, and I'm going to go, did you take the diamonds?
Sort of like, would he correlate that?
She's done it to you before.
Well, yeah, but would he correlate that diamond could be used as a material component?
Well, I mean, she just asked you if you got the diamonds, so she could just basically be asking you if you were successful.
Uh huh. Back in.
Just in her mind, she's just like, they need those to bring Bryn back.
Vocally, he's gonna be like, no worries. And then he's gonna say, in case of emergency, and pull out one of the diamonds.
Now comes the fun question. Which diamond are you bringing out?
The largest one he possibly can.
Okay. So he ends up procuring a diamond roughly the size of his hand, outstretched. Nori, you seeing this? This diamond probably is in the realm of 1,500 gold.
I just kind of squint at Richa. And mentally go, that is worth way more than 300.
But the announcer kind of dashes and grabs it really quick, looking at it like, holy shit, you guys are sort of high rollers, huh?
Just nods vigorously and is like, it's our life savings.
Right. He hands it to the cleric. Is there a way you can divide this to possibly make more use? I don't quite have the right instruments to make a clean cut, so you're going to lose some value, but I could do something.
Fucking do it.
All right. And he kind of takes the diamond over to an instrument table. With the help of the other cleric, they both start casting spells on it, and the cleric ends up taking basically what it would equate to a large ice pick and puts it on top of the diamond itself and starts pushing on the back end of it. Between a mixture of heat metal and other smaller mundane spells, they end up working the diamond, melting a line directly through it. So now
Heal her. It will last for a minute. Heal her.
It's about 2 diamonds, each worth about 500 gold now. So one of the clerics kind of takes one of the diamonds while the other cleric hands you the other half of it, Richa.
What?
And the cleric goes over Bryn and places the disfigured diamond onto her chest. Alright, it's time to roll.
Yeah.
It's the most stressful 1 minute ever.
What do I have to do?
Oh, I'm rolling for the cleric to see if it's successful.
Oh, okay.
Can I give like any help actions or something?
Nope.
Ugh.
So, he puts the diamond to her chest and starts his incantation. A few seconds later, the diamond shatters into millions of pieces and they absorb into Bryn's skin. He kind of opens his eyes and he looks down at her kind of unnervingly. I'm not sure if it worked.
Then use the diamond. Bring her back.
As he says the word worked, Bryn takes a breath. You are back with 1 hit point. But your revival DC has now gone up since you have 1 death.
I'll just put a hand on her shoulder and go, "You did well, kid."
I don't think Bryn's gonna say anything, but just like, holy crap.
With that, the 2 clerics quickly start doling out some healing to you and giving you some potions. You quickly end up going back to full health.
I'll be waiting outside and head on out. If you can, all the way out to where Kaporin is, if you can find him outside.
Okay. Kaporin probably repping the corner hard.
Yeah, Kaporin's just over there stretching out after crying for like a good probably hour. So he's just like enjoying himself on the corner. Were you successful, Richaw? I hope you got something done while I was in there.
He's just gonna squint at him in a way that he could possibly say, like, "Not right now," without actually saying "not right now."
Kaporin's just be like, what the? Okay. Shit.
So after a couple minutes, Bryn, you're back to full health. And they kind of check you out quickly, make sure nothing's still bleeding or profusely coming undone, and give you the okay to leave.
I'm just gonna look at Nori. Let's go get my stuff and then we can, I don't know, head back somewhere.
Just let's get out of here.
You guys all of a sudden feel a shaking and hear as some sort of loud explosion has happened on the 2nd floor. Kaporin, Racha, you guys can see, though a lot of the back windows had gotten shattered, the front hadn't, except now they did, as a torrent of fire seems to erupt out of one of the upstairs rooms and is kind of escaping into the air, and a lot of the front windows have now shattered from the impact.
We gotta go.
I do R2D2 noises.
Kaporin just admires them like fireworks.
What the fuck is happening?
All of a sudden, guards start pouring into the building in different rooms, and there's a bunch of people moving about. The rest of the patrons are trying to run out as the guards are trying to run in. The cleric and announcer quickly start packing up their stuff and frantically start moving around. It is chaos.
Shit. Bryn's gonna try to get back up to her room to grab her shit quickly.
Nori's gonna help because she knows she's hurt.
Okay. As you guys move down the hallway and go towards the base of the stairs up to your area, you are met with people running through the bottom hallway, one of them being the cleric that had left Nori to go find the diamonds, who now has large burn marks all across his face and body and his robes, still a bit on fire, spreading smoke behind him as he's running. And he's screaming, "There's been a theft! There's been a theft!"
There's been a theft?
He's just heading towards the triage area to get help from his fellow clerics.
Just mentally, let's get our stuff and go.
Okay, so you guys run up the stairs and run down the hallway, heading towards room 5. It takes a few moments to run and get there, as well as undo the lock and grab all your items. But by the time that you grab all the stuff and start heading down the hallway back towards the stairs, you see 3 Goliath guards heading up the stairs towards you all. They see you running towards them and they put out their hands. "Everyone please stop. Stay where you are until we figure out the situation.
What's happening? What's going on?
There's been an attack and we need to verify everyone who is still inside. Please go back to your room and wait."
We're down in the triage room the whole time. I was in the fight.
I was with her.
"That means nothing to me. Everyone who's still inside the building needs to stay.
Hey?
Master's orders."
Guess we go back.
Yep.
So you guys go back to the room?
We don't really have a choice, do we?
I mean, you always have a choice.
Bryn really doesn't want to fight 3 Goliaths and whoever else is down there because we know it's more than 3.
Okay, so you go back into your room, and they one stands at the end of the hallway while the 2 other ones go to either doors on either side of the hallway and starts talking to people who are still in the rooms, telling them to stay still while they figure out what's going on. As the fire is not as raging as it was when the first explosion happened, but smoke still sort of billowing from that back window. You see that there are about 15 or so individuals trying to get out from the gate that aren't being let out, and everyone who has left the outside of the gate, seeing that their friends and such have been locked inside, are quickly dispersing into different streets and alleyways to get away from this situation, as regular townsfolk are starting to come out to witness what's going on.
I'm gonna look over at Ratra. It's like, Ratra, I think we should go. Leave the girls for now. I'm sure they'll be able to take care of themselves.
He's sort of going to look back and hope that his plan worked out, and he'll just sort of nod and walk off with Kaporin and into the shadows.
Dun-dum.
All right. So, for the sake of time, about 2 hours goes by, Nori and Bryn, before someone comes to talk to you once more. The announcer person, flanked by 2 Goliaths, goes and talks to everyone in the rooms. "I'm terribly sorry to do this to you, both of you, but I understand the situation, but I need to go through all of your equipment to make sure that the things that have gone missing in the master's quarters are not on your persons."
Yeah, Bryn's gonna lay out the stuff she has. She has nothing to hide.
Nori has nothing to hide either.
So they go through your things, and when everything is tip-top, they... All right, again, like I said, sorry to put you through this. There has been an attack. There was an explosion. It seems in one of our sealed rooms a fire was started, and once a fire burns through all of its oxygen inside of a room, once a door is opened, it creates a backdraft of fire, which lot more problems persisted after that.
Was that cleric okay?
He survived, though probably has some everlasting scars.
Well, I'm glad he survived. He didn't
You
look-
are free to go. He turns to one of the Goliaths that's next to him. Go ahead and escort them beyond the perimeter. He just gives the announcer a nod and waits for you all to exit the room.
Bryn will nod her head at the announcer and gather her things to go.
As you guys are being escorted out, you get taken down the stairs, through the little foyer, and out through the front door. And as you are walking out here, you see about 3 or 4 individuals that are still standing off to the right, and you see about 5 bodies that are unmoving in the grass off to the left. The Goliath escorts you to past everything, and as you guys are kind of staring at the dead bodies, they were found to have items on them that they could not explain how they got them. Luckily, you guys are safe.
Bryn will nod at that and just keep walking.
And he escorts you to the gate, opens it, and lets both of you out. So, you are free to go.
Alright. Go ahead, Nori.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore.
Let's go see if our friends went back to the hotel.
Yeah, because none of the bodies were them, so.
Nope.
We are gonna walk our way back to the Lazy Pillow.
All right. After about a half hour, you make your way back into the comforting, uncomforting downstairs of the Lazy Pillow.
Did you all have a fun time?
Believe it or not, we didn't. Good night, sir. Or ma'am. Good night.
Oh, come on. Just tell me a little. How did it go? You seem to have gotten into a little
I
bit of a
died.
pickle.
And she's just gonna walk through.
Ooh, how was it to die? That seems like an interesting thing.
Yep, we're gonna ignore that and go up to the room.
Yeah, no more disembodied voices.
But I've got so many questions.
Maybe tomorrow.
I'll hold you to it.
I said maybe.
And so you go upstairs. This point, it's about 3:30. You guys
check
go into your... Yeah, if you go into your room, you see that Saren is in there asleep.
Aaron's in our room?
Saren?
I thought he and Racha were sharing a room.
Yeah, he's in your room.
Okay.
He smells a
gonna
little
go-
bit like alcohol.
Okay. Gonna knock on the other door then.
Richard, Kapoor, you guys hear a knock at the door.
Kaporin will very carefully walk up over to the door. It's like, password?
Burn, let us in so we can punch you in the face.
It's our girl.
Bryn's a little proud of Nori for that one.
Kaporin will slide open the door, or try to open the door as like give Bryn a hug. It's like, I went through so much.
Did you die?
As soon as he pulls back, Nori does punch him in the face.
Go ahead and make an unarmed strike.
+0 to this. It does no damage, but
It doesn't
It's
even
still-
hit.
Can't touch this. Da, 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 da.
It's the thought that counts.
You try to punch him in the face, and you sometimes forget how tall he is, and so your hand just doesn't quite reach. You send the energy out, but it stops like a good 4 inches from his nose.
With her noticing that, Bryn's just, because he's like hugging her, or at least was, she's just gonna slap him in the back of the head.
Make an unarmed strike.
Just bullying Gabarin.
Fuck.
Oh yeah, 8 points of damage, baby.
He's the only one that didn't get hurt this time around. So.
Now he did. As she just full on claps you, not only in the back of the head, but kind of cups the ear too, so it does that extra ringing pain.
Gabarin, when someone says distraction, it does not mean have a temper tantrum in front of the guards.
You should have been more clear. Escaporn's holding his ear on, and like fuck.
I think I needed to be clear.
He gave us 2 drinks and he said distraction. I was like, okay.
That distraction, it means, I don't know, throw a drink at someone who looks incredibly fancy, insult them. That would be a distraction. Not, you threw a temper tantrum, Gabarin. Oh, it makes so much sense that I'm older than you.
It all comes full circle.
Porn having his now truthfully that he's a kid inside. Richard just like look at him and like, fuck off.
Alright, Bryn's gonna now ignore Kaporin. Richa, she's just gonna look at you quizzically.
I fucked up and almost died.
But you didn't.
Bryn literally died. What happened, Raja?
Well, no, was it successful?
He's just sort of gonna be looking up at the ceiling, thinking of the disembodied voices, and just nod.
Great. We need to go back to the tackles respite, I assume.
Now? With a question mark.
It was supposed to be done before.
Exactly, it was supposed to be done tonight. It needs to be done.
He's gonna shrug and say 2 + 2, I figured water.
Porn ain't gonna leave the room. He's just gonna go lay down because his head hurts now.
It's probably smart because we were officially cleared, so I think we can go and or Bryn or me or just Bryn, whatever, just do whatever is the last step.
I guess we'll head back towards the tackles respite, but I'm actually gonna want to keep an eye, like, if we're being tailed, in case they wanted to follow us to see if we're up to no good.
Okay, so you guys make your way downstairs. It's going to be Nori, Bryn, and Racha.
I believe so.
Porn would probably want to head into the other room with Saren, just because he feels safer that way.
Snuggle, got it.
Totally.
If Saren unconscious body allows it.
Saren is
He's
a
passed
little
out drunk.
that. As much as I would love to, I can't.
So, you guys head down through the uncomfortable first floor and back out to the night air. As you guys move out here, there is a ruckus of people for this late at night, kind of milling about the streets, talking to themselves. You start heading towards the Reckles test pit. Go ahead and give me a perception check, Racha. Keep an eye out to see if you're actively tailed by anyone. You don't seem to see anybody that really is giving you all too much focus. Bryn gets a little bit of recognition from some of the people that you guys remember seeing as patrons in the fighting area that seem to still be kind of lingering in the streets, possibly waiting for friends to make an appearance or kind of giving off the story to anyone who would listen. But you eventually get down to the edge of the docks where the Tackle's Respite is housed. It is dark. There are no drinks being poured. There's no patrons. There's no bartenders. It is quiet.
Is it have a door?
Behind the bar, there is a door to like a little back tiny storehouse, but that's about it.
He's just gonna walk to the back door and knock on it and go, "We could use some drinks out here."
You knock on the door and say that. Wait for a few moments, no response.
He's the grandpa at the window going, "Why are you not open?"
Pretty much. Bryn, go ahead and give me a history check.
For the place that they took me before.
Yep. You know roughly in the direction that it's at, but you're not 100% sure of the actual path to get there.
Can I try as well? I was there.
Yep. You have a little bit better of a memory about it. You could probably pick it out if you saw it, but you don't remember the exact route to get back.
Well, I think our best bet is trying to go find Mira and Heather.
I agree.
I guess we're gonna go try to find that freaking place.
Yeah, put our two vague knowledge of its location together.
Okay, both of you give me perception checks. Almost at the same exact time as you guys are walking around for about another half hour, you guys round a corner, and you both kind of at the same time, with Nora being just a slight tad bit faster. Oh, there it is! As you point to the warehouse that you remember Bryn going inside. With the same barback who seems to be standing guard out front.
You want us to wait outside?
I don't know why you can't come. I don't know. We can try.
Let's go.
We'll approach the barback dude.
As you guys approach, he kind of slides his arm down and hits the door once. And as you get a little bit closer, as soon as you're about to say something, the door just opens for you.
Alright, we're walking in.
You walk inside, and just as you remember it, different casks and crates line the walls and different areas of this larger warehouse-esque place. And as you guys are going inside, the door closes behind you as both Heather and Mira start walking down the stairs. Oh my, it's wonderful for you to see you back tonight. I was getting a bit worried. Kind of cutting it close on time, aren't y'all?
Well, couldn't quite remember the way back here. It would have been a little quicker.
No matter, no matter. So, you come back with good news or bad news? I've heard a little bit about your escapades, and though the details are a bit messy, I'm not sure if it led to an ultimate success.
She'll look at Richaw. She's assuming he has them.
He just shrugs. No, I'm kidding. He pulls the bag off of his back and like sets it down on the ground and starts and like pulls up the skull thing.
Why, that seems to be quite the perfect find. As the hooded individual from earlier, Bryn, that you talked to, kind of appears from the shadows behind you all. Well, I see. I'm glad you were able to make it yourself. Hopefully, you can go ahead and validate all of their findings, sir. And he kind of leans forward and pulls his hood back, and the same red tiefling face with horns curving that you remember seeing that first night you got the brand, Bryn, or first morning you got the brand. Why, yes, I believe a keen eye is needed for details such as this.
He'll just sort of like, if there's a table of some sort, dump
There's a barrel.
Yeah, dump the rest of the diamonds onto the top of it.
He comes over and starts inspecting the skull. Kind of nods, and he takes the skull in one hand and kind of puts it behind his back, and then he brings his hand back around and the skull's gone. He starts looking over the other diamonds and kind of looks at the one that's been cut in half. Oh, well, this seems to be underwhelming. Anybody care to explain what happened here? This is definitely not a artisan's touch.
I believe they used part of it to bring me back to life.
I see. A little bit more of a all-in venture, I suppose.
She'll just nod.
No matter. Won't take it from your cuts. It was a necessary sacrifice for the deed, I'm sure. Kind of keeps his eye over a few of the other diamonds. Ends up taking a small handful of some, slides it across the barrel towards you, Richaw, and then pockets the rest of them. And for your guys' success, your split. So altogether, there is split between 6 different sized diamonds, 850 gold worth of diamonds.
Racha wants nothing to do with them and will not touch them.
I feel like Bryn should get to decide because she literally died getting these diamonds.
She wouldn't know what the fuck to do with them, but sure, she'll pocket them. Put them somewhere safely.
Well, I believe your favor should definitely be in the positive category. I applaud your conciseness to be able to put together a plan and follow it through to a modicum of success. So, as a sign of goodwill on my end, is there anything... I know you've been asking the ladies of some possible information. Is there something I might be more forthwith of giving?
Yes, we've been asking about the pirates, but along with the pirates, there's Machaw's friend, he who is out looking for, I think, an island for his Kenku people that we've been trying to find. And then our other companion actually had a similar name to yours in Jadeport, but we're unsure of what happened to him, if you have any idea.
I know of this He Who character. It took him to meet with a fisherman that spoke of an island large enough for a settlement to be put upon. Last time I saw him was about a month ago.
Do you know which port you took him to? What fisherman? What vessel? Anything?
One second.
So many questions to be asked, but so little time.
I took him to the southernmost cliff island. There I had met a fisherman who, with some persuasion, told me of a few uncharted islands that have come about in the last 50 years or so. The largest one, all of them unnamed currently, but the largest one, not being too far away, he who had bought himself passage upon my ship, as well as my information, and then bought himself passage with the fisherman to take him to that island. I bought passage to the other two islands that he had spoken of, but as far as the specific island he who was going to, I have no idea about it, where it is, or anything like that. He who paid handsomely to make sure that there wasn't any others, at least, that he could be in control of, that knew of this island as well. So that way he would have first pick. But along the northern port of the shattered island of the cliffs, that is where I found Ganymede, an old elven fisher, and with enough coin, he's sure willing, able to either give you passage towards the island or information leading to it.
One, no eye.
No, he's got both of his eyes.
He's just gonna nod.
Any other questions that you might have for me? I'm feeling in a generous mood.
You don't know any more information about the pirate island or anything? Like that?
No, unfortunately not. They keep highly to themselves, and the only way to get real information is to find a pirate and make him talk.
What about the pirate Heather Nair you mentioned before, down one of those farmlands down south?
Oh, yes, you're talking about Qatar? We weren't able to find a specific location on him. But we do know he's down in the Jewel Rose clan lands, trying to get his fingers wet when it comes to possible new methods of war. He's a bit of a arms dealer now. So he's working with the Duragar and is making quite a pretty penny. I believe, Barnabas, sir, that he might actually be a good contact to eventually end up having if we wanted to outfit some of our people. This is good news. Possibly a double mission for you if you all feel so inclined to head to Qatar.
Rachad's gonna pull out the map that he has of the coast and just sort of like unroll it and just go, where?
So, on the cliffs, the southernmost island.
Yeah, he figured. I figured that he was asking in terms of this guy that they're referring to in the other clan lands. He's trying to get them to fill out their map.
As far as, asking where Qatar might be, I'm sorry, little bird. I'm not sure exactly where he's at. The Durgar are spread out all over the Jewel Rose lands. So you need to find the individual specifically and get a hold of him that way. I just know that he's down there and he moves between a few of the more artisanal workers of the explosive variety.
But do you have specific names of places?
I don't have names of places that he's at. Like I said, I'm not sure where he's at. I just know of him and what he's doing down there. It's individuals like that, and you gotta understand, he used to be an ex-pirate, and secrecy on locations is, well, driven into them early on in their recruitment phases. So, he's not going to be staying in one place too long, and he's probably not going to be telling too many people once he's there.
But does he have specific city name places?
I don't know, dear. I'm just telling you what I do know. I have no idea where he's. I just know what clan lands he's in. The Duragar are spread out all over the Jewel Rose lands. So you've got a wide variety and a decent amount of space to try and figure out what or where he might be.
I was just trying to know for spell purposes, but thank you.
Yes, I mean, I could tell you of a few town names in the land, but I can't give you any guarantee that he's going to be there.
But yes, a town name would be helpful.
Cha's gonna pantomime towards him with a feather of his own and pretend to be drawing on the map. And he's like, "Your turn."
Who are you doing that to?
Any of the three that are watching him mess with the paper.
Barnabas kind of like looks at you. I'm sorry, I'm not much of a cartographer, but if it makes your life easier, you can have this map. And he gives you a map of Cydia.
Ooh, fascinating. Thank you. Bye. I love you. That's just him saying like he's done, but if everybody else wants to talk to him still, go for it.
So you have your Cydia map now.
Woo! If you would still keep talking, I'll have another question.
Sorry, I'm looking through my notes. As far as cities down in the Jewel Rose lands, you've got yourself, Demlador and Bagram. Those are some of the bigger northern cities. And then you've got yourself Kember, is more of a bigger southern city. As far beyond that, I'm not too sure. Barnabas, do you? No, unfortunately, I don't really make it a habit of going down there. I let any of them come to me, or I send people in my stead. As he kind of nods towards you all.
Do you mind if I ask another question?
It's starting to tarry on a little bit long, but one more question would do.
One of our friends, we found his father in Jadeport Town before it was destroyed. And when we met him, he wasn't himself according to his son, but he called himself Barnabas as well. I actually had the same name as you, exactly.
Child's gonna like
Like-
shoot. Ha!
Like I've told you all before, I keep many other individuals in different parts of the world that are under my guise, under my name, to give myself presence in multiple areas at once. You guys have asked about this previously, and
Well, do you know if he's alive, though?
oh no, that fucker's dead. I believe he was hanged atop a burning symbol, and then subsequently, from my records, I believe you all dealt with the body of that individual.
I did. It didn't look like the man we had met, though.
Oh, yes, well, once you're dead, all the illusion effects wear off.
Child's gonna get really close and personal to this guy and like look in his face super awkwardly and go, Barnabas Elrith.
As you get closer, he's going to palm your face away from his.
You will allow it to happen while he's still just staring very awkward.
As he kind of just full arm extends you away from him. I appreciate your interest, but personal space, bird. I like to call this little area around me my no-no square.
He's gonna, in Comparin's voice, go, Can I have a hug?
We are starting to get friendly, but we're not quite there yet. Possibly do this next favor, and we can discuss embracing next time.
Thank you.
So, for you all, does this sound like a possible avenue of furthering our friendships?
Well, it is something we are going to go towards anyways.
Wonderful. If you're heading down to Jewel Rose Lands, it might as well be nice to get a good feather in your cap along the way. If you can find yourselves down there, converse with any of the higher Durgar that are in charge of weapons manufacturing, and secure either a line of communication or an actual contract itself for on behalf of my stead. Not only will you find yourself in my favor and gratitude, but also a handsome reward as well. And as far for you, Bryn, as reporting back to the Ixian military some of the things that you have found, this might be an extra little notch in your cap to kill 3 birds with 1 stone. I'm not talking about you, Richard.
He's just gonna cock his head sideways.
So, sound like a plan?
Yes.
Wonderful. I will give you any kind of searches absentmindedly in his pocket, and he pulls out 2 of the diamonds. This should be somewhat of a good down payment for any sort of friendly relationships that you can incur between myself and one of these Duragar artisans. And he's going to hand over 2 diamonds, each worth 1,000 gold.
Thank you.
So
This is for setting up some sort of contract to show good faith in our future dealings with a new Durgar kinsman.
that was gonna be my question. I was like, so this is bribe money, right?
It's more of like down payment money. And bribe money is meant to more do something that they're not supposed to do. In this part of the world, If the Duragar want to sell their arms to people, they can do so. It's their business.
Gotcha.
It's just, their down payment on a contract. So, make sure that they go ahead and get that to show good faith. And once the contract is set up and you can make some sort of contact with me, I would greatly appreciate the expediency of such things. The sooner this contract is set, the higher reward for setting up such contract. And it also allow me to get down there, or have another compatriot of mine get down there to solidify and start the shipment processes. Wonderful. It's a good night. Oh, by the way, as he was about to turn to head out. I understand some people perished at the event tonight. Any of that by any of your hands?
Rachad's just gonna nod.
Interesting. How many? I'm trying to modify some memories to possibly make things a bit easier.
He'll hold up 2 fingers, and then he'll mirror image the 2 images of the people he killed.
Minor illusion, you mean?
Yeah, that's fine.
Right. Old gangly fellow and young... Interesting, young tiefling. Alright. Thank you kindly, and I'll try and slip them into... deceased by explosion. Again, great job tonight. I hope to hear from you all soon. Good luck in the Jewel Rose lands. With that, he kind of turns. He doesn't go out the front door. He goes back into the shadows, and he's gone. Well, it seems you're definitely making your way into some good graces.
I suppose so.
Well, it's good to be in Barnabas's good graces. It's also better to be in our good graces while you're here in town, at least. So, you guys are all allowed to leave for the night, but ladies, if you'd like to join us tonight, feel free to stay.
I'm good, thanks.
To be honest, you're in Heather I would, but I've died and I feel like it.
Suit yourself. You all have a wonderful night. And they start heading upstairs. Shortly thereafter, the door to outside opens up, and the guard kind of looks in at you all, and then steps back.
I guess we leave.
And as you leave, the barback closes the door behind you, kind of sits over the door and leans up against it. Not really looking at you guys, just waiting the time out.
Shall we head back?
It's like nothing more to do than sleep.
So, you guys head back, quickly rushing past the first floor disembodied voices up to the second floor.
Actually, I'm gonna tell him that I'm gonna give him however much more money for one more night because she does not want to wake up in order to leave.
Oh, I'm very glad you're deciding to stay another night. Hopefully I can get some of that information out of you later.
How much was it again for another night?
For 2 rooms? Or are you all going to bunk up into one together?
The 2 rooms.
That would be another 6 trillion.
Plus the carriage?
Oh, yes, we're housing your individuals. Since you've stayed a number of nights with us, yes, your storage of your horse and carriage is free for one more day.
Alright, she'll hand out 3 gold.
Wonderful, as it disappears from your hand.
She's gonna regret this probably, but hopefully so he doesn't bug her in the morning. If you don't wake me up, I will answer 3 questions in the morning.
Woo! I can't wait. Sleep tight. I can't wait to see you in the morning.
When she wakes up.
Of course, of course.
With that, it was back to the room.
Good night. Good night. As you head up to your room, you open up the door and you see Kaporin and Saren snuggling. Well, Saren passed out, Kaporin snuggling. And Belladonna big spooning Kaporin.
Kaporin's gonna like wake up to like the light coming into the room. He's like, huh?
No, you don't.
Oh damn. Okay.
You're facing
Never
away.
mind. Does Belladonna have to sleep? I feel like she'd just be like, what's going on?
She's just there for warmth for you, basically.
She's just dead and staring into your back as
She knows you had a hard night.
So, I guess the question is, Nori, do we split up? Do one of us go with the 2 passed out and one of us goes with Drachal?
Well, with Kaporin's size and the beds, he would need to squish the 2 beds together, so that way they could all be uncomfortably together.
Gotcha, so I guess we're all going into the other room.
What, like in Rajah's room?
So as you go in, you see Racha has his nice little nest up by the top of the window.
and there's a single bed otherwise.
Yep.
And then I guess we share a bed.
Cuddle time.
See, Kaporin
Oh, yeah.
did his job. Kaporin got you two to sleep together. There, Kaporin did his job.
Pretty sure Bryn's gonna just like hold you the whole time, just like, oh my god, I'm not dead.
Yeah, same.
And unless you all would like to do anything before you sleep.
Yeah, no, today is bedtime.
I will say that on the whole way back and through the discussion of everything, Cha was uncharacteristically very quiet. And like as he gets into bed, he's just sort of making a couple of like mimicked noises that don't sound too great.
Something's up with the chalk.
From the bed, she's just, are you okay, Richa?
He's not going to respond to it.
Well, if there is something wrong, we are here if you want to talk.
Well, you do know Rachak killed 2 people.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk now, but later, if you're feeling up to it.
He'll just be cuddled into a ball in his little nest up top.
I never did thank you, Richa, for doing that. So, thank you. I'm sure it wasn't easy. Hoping that will, I don't know. Yeah. Trying to make you feel better, but she doesn't really know how to.
Nori is thinking about all the ways she can make Rachel fly next time.
Yeah, he's just gonna be too zonked and like having to remember. Like after all of the conversation and stuff, he was excited, but then he right at the very end was asked, "Oh, did you kill anybody?" And it's like that sort of messed with his head a little bit, and it's like, "Oh shit," is what's going through his mind, but he wouldn't say a word.
Yeah. So, with that, sleep overtakes you. Richa, you start to nestle down, and just as you're about to sleep, a little bit of light sort of creeps in through the window as the sunrise is starting. Technically, it's up to you if you want to cock-a-doodle-doo.
Nope.
All right. With that, you all bed down and find sleep at your own paces. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
That was a wild ride.
I experienced many emotions and I am tired.
I agree.
Not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting to actually create a bomb doing what I did. I was more just expecting to incinerate the room.
That's what happens when you light a fire in a sealed room.
It made sense as soon as it went off, but I was like, oh, yeah, that's definitely a backdraft.
Yep.
I was just like screaming in the side of my head every time Rachaw failed on one of those locks. It's just like, oh my god, get it open, please.
Yeah, it would have been
Oh, I
interesting to
think we
see.
were all.
Good.
So I think we were all doing that.
Yep.
Of course, the time I get it, I had to get like all 4 of them back to back to keep the non-5s fails.
Yeah. Would have been interesting to see if you ultimately failed 5 times what the defense mechanism was.
Oh god.
But nevertheless, that is for a different time. But with that, it was an interesting night. Things happened. Information gathered. Friends made. But nevertheless, any questions for me as we end tonight's session?
I actually have one question.
Yep.
How tough would it be to commission a placard that says, because, now we have to have one of those signs that says, no snuggling with Saren?
If it's
That's
simple,
like
if it's simple woodworking, it wouldn't cost that much.
You act like you act like someone would listen to the sign.
You act like the one person who would actually snuggle you would listen to the sign.
You would if there's some sort of enchantment on it.
Glyph of warding.
An anti-Terran enchantment.
You say that in jest, but someone's getting blown up.
So, with that, if no questions are had, or you end up coming up with questions, and feel free to ask me in message, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. As far as things go, I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. Christmas during all this random crap that's going on is needed and also comes with a bit of salt not being able to really celebrate it how we'd like to, but nevertheless, I'm thankful for you all, you guys, and over a year in this campaign. So thank you all once again. I do hope you all have a Merry Christmas, and unless people's schedule is restrictive about it, next Monday, would that work for it? The 28th?
Yeah.
Works for us.
I'm good for the 28th.
Let's do this.
All right, so back to the 28th, the regular time. So, once again, have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you all next Monday.
Merry Christmas. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks as
Bye,
well.
everybody. For all of you watching, have a Merry Christmas. Thank you for being with us, and I hope it's a good one.